Good afternoon, folks. I wanted to make this video because in the past few weeks, I've gotten a lot of emails and phone calls from folks who are worried about their grade. I've had a lot of Skype and Zoom and Blackboard Collaborate meetings with folks who are afraid that their assignments aren't good enough and that it makes them look bad. And it breaks my heart because so many of you are apologizing to me. You don't need to feel bad, and you definitely don't need to apologize to me because you're not doing as well as you'd hoped given, the pandemic, all right? So I decided that there's a few things that I think you really, really need to know. First, your worth does not come from your grade, all right? Second, your worth does not come from your GPA. In fact, GPAs can sometimes get your foot in the door for a competitive program at a university or something like that, but they're not as valuable as being analytical, displaying solid critical thinking skills, having an open mind to learning new things, and, being well-rounded without stretching yourself too thin. And here's the greatest thing. If you're worried about your GPA now, once you get your degree, your job does not care what your GPA was. They don't care. You got the degree. That's enough. Next, your value does not diminish if you don't ace an assignment. And yes, that even goes if there's not really a good excuse for it. You should have done better, and you know you should have done better. You just couldn't bring yourself to do it, or you forgot, or whatever. It doesn't matter, all right? That does not diminish your value. You are allowed to ask for help. Some of you have told me that you were anxious asking for help because you feel like you just let yourself down, you didn't do enough. No, I'm here to help. Things are crazy right now, and I'm willing to help you any way that I can, okay? We only have really this week to get that help though, because next week is gonna be nuts. So get in touch with me, let me help you, let's get you caught up, and it'll be all right, okay? If you make a mistake or experience a failure, which you will, everybody does, know that you can try again. I know that it doesn't feel like it, and mistakes and failures sometimes make us feel like our lives are over and we've screwed everything up for ourselves and we're never going to be able to make it back. And yeah, mistakes and failures can sometimes make life harder for a while. We may even have to reevaluate things we'd taken for granted and look for different pathways forward. Here's the thing, life never works out exactly like we planned. There's always going to be mistakes. There's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be failures, all right? And the best thing is there's more than one pathway to success and happiness and fulfillment. It can be hard at the moment, but you can get through things if you just try not to be too hard on yourself. And most importantly, don't give up. And that brings me to the last point. And it's the one I think is the most important. Failure does not define you. What defines you is not failure. It's how you pick up the pieces after you fail. Most of the successful people that we look up to as our role models have failed, some spectacularly. Good example, Walt Disney, y'all, was actually fired from the Kansas City Star newspaper when he was just starting out because the editor of the newspaper said, and this is a direct quote, he lacked imagination and had no good ideas. Walt Disney, y'all. Steven Spielberg, one of the best directors of all time, he was rejected from UCLA's cinematography program multiple times. They would not accept him. He kept doing. Finally, he got in, but he was rejected multiple times before he was able to get into his school. Thomas Edison, one of the most famous and successful inventors ever, was once told by a childhood teacher that he was too stupid to learn anything. Of course, Edison is super famous, and he even has a really great quote, and this is something I think you should remember. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up. And when I send out the email, there's going to be a lot of links to look at a lot of these stories about really, really successful people who have failed, to kind of put things into perspective. I failed a ton of times. I had 3 failed careers before I found my dream job. And I'm not talking little failures. I'm talking miserable failures. I didn't really find out until what I wanted to do with my life until I was in my early 30s. So don't buy into that belief that failures define you. life is actually a lot more forgiving than we often give it credit for. The only difference between somebody who has failed and somebody who succeeds is whether or not they let that failure define them or whether they pick up the pieces and move on. I mean, look at Elon Musk right now, all right? That man has devalued his entire company, like by billions, twice in the past couple of years. At once, I kid you not, because he tweeted a pot joke that he thought his girlfriend would think was funny. Like, dude, listen, be kind to yourself, right? Reach out for help. That doesn't make you weak. Don't ever, ever define yourself by your mistakes, and don't ever give up. Plus, and this is important, everyone is struggling right now, and that actually works in your favor. Just look at the college. Right now, this college this semester has instituted a couple of policies. One, to make incomplete grades a little bit more flexible for students, and two, for students that are concerned about their grade and have struggled to kind of keep up, there are late withdrawals that can be requested. It's a WE, or for withdrawal emergency. They created an entirely new designation just to help folks out. So in the end, the TLDR, hang in there. Don't be too hard on yourself. Get in touch with me before Friday if you want to try and make up your grade. And don't panic, all right? You can do this. Have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye. I almost made it through the whole thing.